Welcome everyone to Movement Yoga. My name is Mark Cormier. I'm practicing with my wife Kathy Cormier this morning. We do these most Thursdays, 9 a.m. West Coast, 12 p.m. East Coast, and for our sons in Bristol, England, 5 p.m. Bristol, England time.
Ooh.
I guess they'd say over there 1700. If you'd like to see anything in particular, please put it in the comments section. Otherwise, we'll do our thing. And the beauty of a home practice is you can do your thing. So, you ready to come on up?
Right.
Come on up.
Need to stretch out the burrito.
There you go. All right. Anything you'd like to work on this morning, Kathy?
posture, especially when sitting, like kind of like thinking about, when you are seated, you have no choice but to be seated. How do you?
Yeah.
But probably shoulders. So shoulders.
In the context of this class, which is not really a chair class.
No, I know. So shoulders.
So
Shoulders,
pretty
hips,
much,
legs, core, all of it.
All that stuff, yeah. So generally, the antidote to sitting is to not sit. So
I know.
as much as you can, get up out of that chair.
I actually have a strategy. I'm excited about it.
All right, cool. All right, so let's get going. Hands on hips. Let's just march it from side to side. Give it a little kick. So waking up our legs, starting to arrive in our bodies this morning. And then minimizing that movement as we stay pretty much grounded through 2 feet, just rocking it from side to side, and then finding your center. Hands still on hips, let's rock it front to back as we lift heels and lift toes. Notice you're starting to engage your core to maintain your balance as we do this exercise. Now staying grounded through your heels, grounded through your toes as you rock it front to back, and then finding your center. Keeping hands on hips, I'll invite you to circle the circumference of your feet. And then taking those circles the other way. And then back to center. Hands by our side. Relaxing our shoulders, starting with our breath. Hands find the heart, like press of the thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger, keeping those shoulders relaxed, a soft tuck of the chin. Starting our practice this morning, just watching as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From a place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow breath in, followed by an equally long, slow breath out. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to bring the air to the top of your chest, the base of your belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, I'll encourage you to engage that core as you draw navel back towards spine, squeezing a little more air out, concurrently lifting the kidneys in and up as we engage back core. With an abdominal engagement on the exhalation, providing structural support for our low back as we move through these shapes and sequences. And you can even do that sitting in a chair, just emphasizing the exhalation as you engage your core. Sitting up a little straighter, a little taller. Now finding the go-to breath in many flow practices, the Ujjayi breath, the victorious breath, slightly constricting the base of your throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice this morning, letting the sound and feel of your breath be a focus for your practice, the sound of which often compared to the sounds of the ocean as the waves wash in and out. Keeping this, I'll invite you to find the tongue loop, tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind the teeth, keeping that tongue loop throughout the practice, keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Lifting the chin tall through the crown, we'll invite you to roll your hands over as we bring our hands by our side. Arms and shoulders, keeping it simple. Inhaling arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling arms back down. 2 more times like this, breathing arms up. Exhaling arms down. Observing the natural rhythm of the shoulders. Inhaling the arms up, the shoulders elevate. Exhaling arms down, the shoulders move down the back. Adding a forward fold. Inhaling up. On the exhale, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to arc the back as we lift chin and tail. On the exhale, arching the spine as we fold again. Inhaling arms out to the side and then overhead, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. 2 more times like this. Inhaling arms up. Exhaling as we fold. Take a breath to arc. On the exhale, arching. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. We have 1 more to go here. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as we fold again. Inhaling, finding your flat back, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Sun salutation A. I'll ask you to go sideways. And let's see. Yeah, it's a good place to be. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as you grind on down. And I'll ask you to find down dog straight off the bat. One hand down, grounding down the other. As we hold this first down dog of this practice, I'll invite you to walk your dog as you bend one leg deeply and then the other, grounding down to the opposite heel. And then freely moving back and forth between the sides, stretching it out, seeing how everything feels this morning. What feels tight, what feels right, what feels somewhere in between. From this place of movement, I'll invite you to move back towards relative stillness. Long arms, long legs, long spine, deep full breath. Long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending your knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, and then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding again. Inhaling right in the breath up, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Second one just like the first, this time I'll cue vinyasa. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as you keep the elbows soft, cycling through vinyasa as you find chaturanga, yoga push-up. Feel free to use the knees or not. Inhaling into a back bend, be it cobra or up dog, depending on whether you lift the hips or not. And then feel free to use the knees or not as you draw it back to down dog. As we hold down dog, either holding it in stillness, seeing what arises, or again, feel free to walk your dog as you stir it up a little bit. If your shoulders are feeling good, maybe adding a swing of the shoulders. If your neck, you can always relax the neck and shake the head. Lots of great things to do in any of these shapes. Connecting with our feeling body. In down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of a breath, bending your knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to create length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, finding your flat back, hinging at the hips, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. Let's do one more sun sal. We'll throw a plank into the mix. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to create length. On the exhale, keeping that length as you cycle through a push-up. Inhaling into a back bend. And then exhaling back to down dog. And again, take your time. Find your flow. Follow your breath. Feeling free to hold down dog at home. For the purposes of this class, I'll ask Kathy to come forward and find plank pose. Holding that for 3 or 4 long, slow breaths. Feeling that connection between head, hips, and heels. Connecting with a line of strength running through the center of yourself. You can find that line of strength anywhere. It could be sitting in a chair, it could be standing up, it could be a plank pose. Shoulders super engaged. We're bearing weight here. We want to keep those shoulders happy. Breath free and easy. Long, smooth breaths in. Equally long, smooth breaths out. Tail end of a breath, navel to spine as you lift the hips high, bringing it back to down dog. Down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending your knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, and then looking between the hands and either stepping or jumping in front. Take a breath to create length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. On the inhale, riding your breath up, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. Second traditional warm-up exercise, sun salutation B, flow style. Inhaling into a chair. Exhaling, taking it lower, more strength in your legs. On the inhale, rising on up, finding a back bend at the top, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to create length as you look up. On the exhale, keeping that length as you ground on down, making your way back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, your choice. Once we find down dog, flow style, feet together, right leg high for the three-legged dog. High on the left toes as we stretch out the Achilles tendon and calf. Now looking between the hands, pitching that lifted leg even higher. And then sweeping that foot through, landing it lightly as we spin the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead, warrior one. And then riding the breath back to low lunge as you spin that back heel up. And then back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, your choice. Second side when you're ready. Feet together, left leg high. High on the right toes. Looking between the hands, pitching that leg even higher, and then sweeping that foot on through, landing it lightly, back leg long, back leg strong, arms out to the side and then overhead. Inhaling, and then on the exhale, back to low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. As we hold down dog, I'm going to invite you to bring your attention to your hands. Lots of space between each finger. Pressing down to the base of the fingers as we draw the center of the palm up towards the shoulders. Shoulders engaged. Different things we can do with our neck. We can keep the neck relaxed and the head super, super heavy. Or you might lengthen through all sides of the neck as you look back towards your navel. It's an interesting neck stretch. In, down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending your knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, and then looking between the hands, and either stepping or jumping at front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. On the inhale, stay low, knees over toes, hands over head in chair pose, finding flat back. Exhaling, taking it lower, more strength in your legs. On the inhale, rising on up, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine, tall through the crown. Adding a dragon dog into the mix. Inhaling into our chair, knees over toes, hands over head. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to create length as we arc. On the exhale, arching the spine as we ground on down and making our way back to down dog as we will. In down dog, flow style, feet together, right leg high, high on the left toes. On an exhale, finding your dragon dog, knee to nose, nose to knee, shoulders over wrists. And inhale it back up. 2 more times. Exhale it forward. We're not doing that one yet. It's knee comes center. And this third one, we'll hold the knee center, squeezing yourself a little tighter. And on that next exhale, getting that foot as far front as you can, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Take your time, find your flow. Moving through space with grace. Shoulder blades back and down on the left dog. Yeah, nice. Yeah, feel free to use the knees. Second side, feet together, left leg high, high on the right toes. On an exhale, knee to nose to knee, dragon dog, knee to center, that's it. And inhale it up. Again, we'll do that same thing. Exhale it forward. Inhale it up, try to lock those elbows a little bit more, I think. And this third one will hold for the inhale, squeezing things tight, tight, tight. And then getting that foot front. A little bit front, or as far front as you can, spinning the back heel down. Arms out to the side and then overhead, finding your balance. And then back to low lunge as you find low lunge, and then back to down dog. Because whenever we lock a joint, it gives us more stability. Having said that, you want to be careful. So doing it judiciously. You're bearing weight and it feels a little shaky. You might lock the joint out, but realize that eventually, if you do that a lot, the joint will be sore. In, down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little bit higher, and then looking between the hands as you step or jump in front. Take a breath to create length. Keeping that length as we fold. On the inhale, stay low, finding your chair pose. On the exhale, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. One more sun style beat. We'll throw that twist into the dragon dog. Inhaling into your chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, finding that back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to create length as you arc the back. Hands can cap the knees. On the exhale, hands can catch the back of the thighs or shins as you traction yourself deeper. And then grounding on down and making your way back to down dog as you will. Flow style, feet together, right leg high, high on the left toes. On an exhale, now we're going to do the knee thing, knee to elbow thing. We're going to bring right knee to right elbow, maybe tap it, maybe not. And then back up. Now finding a twist as we bring right to left, maybe tap it, maybe not. And then back up. Now we're going to bring the knee center and hold for the inhale. And on that next exhale, tight, tight, tight as we step that foot front, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead, inhaling, and then riding the exhale back to low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. All right, I think we still have one more side to do. Feet together, left leg high, high on the right toes. On an exhale, bringing left knee to left elbow, maybe give it a tap, and inhale it up. Now finding a twist, left to right, maybe tap it, maybe not. Inhale it up. Now we're going to bring that knee center and holding for the inhale. And then tight, tight, tight as we step that foot as far front as you can, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead. Inhaling. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge, and from low lunge back to down dog as you will. Awesome. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your breath flows in and as your breath flows out. In, down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending your knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, and then looking between the hands as you step or jump in front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Exhaling, keeping that length as we fold. On the inhale, stay low, coming back to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower, more strength in your legs. On the inhale, rising on up, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll ask you to face camera, Kathy, as we bring hands to heart. Again, finding that light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. Long through all sides of the neck with a soft tuck of the chin. Watching as our breath flows in. And watching as our breath flows out. Lifting the chin tall through the crown. We'll invite you to roll those hands over as we bring our hands by our side. I'll invite you to step or jump the feet in, coming down and capping the knees with our hands as we circle those knees. And taking those knee circles the other way. And then coming on up as we step or jump our feet hip width apart. Hands find the back of the hips, the fingers face down. I'll invite you to circle those hips. And then taking those hip circles the other way. Now bringing hips center, I'll invite you to find a cross-shoulder hug, keeping the hips relatively stable as we circle our shoulders. Try to stabilize those hips. Hips are stable, just the shoulders. And taking it the other way. Now coming back to center, either keeping hands on your shoulders or arms high in the air like you either do or don't care. Now we'll take the shoulders one way, hips go the other. This is starting to feel like a story time.
Oh, that'll be fun. I'm studying for story time next Tuesday, so
Excellent.
to figure out how to incorporate this one.
And let's take it the other way. I give it some.
I'll call it the blender.
The blender. Give it a silly name.
It has to be a cool, foggy day, though. It gets very hot there, so sometimes.
You want to keep people still. All right, and back to center. Hands by our
It could be
side.
like a tree blowing in the wind.
Tree blowing in the wind. The willow tree.
Willow.
Stepping. My granddad had a big willow tree on his property. It was beautiful. From here, I'll ask you to go sideways again. Sun salutation C. An extended standing pose sequence when you're ready. Inhaling into our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, finding your back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to create length as we arc the back. And then arching the spine as you ground on down and making your way back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or just stretching straight back. All right, let's add that hip opener to our three-legged dog. So feet together, right leg high. Is that right leg? Okay. Keeping right shoulder just as it is. Twisting from the ribs, we're going to stack the hips. So one hip on top of the other. You're not going to go too far. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip any amount. Keeping the shoulder just as it is. You might want to lock the elbow out a little bit more. Maybe having straighten it. Yeah, straighten your elbow. Yeah, that's what I mean. You find more stability right there. You're going to circle the thigh bone in the hip socket for 1, 2, and 3. Take it the other way for 1, 2, and 3. Now looking between the hands, pitching that knee even higher, and then sweeping that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead, inhaling. I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips. If you're as long as you're going to get, stay right there. Otherwise, shifting weight onto the front foot as you scoop the back foot back. More length in your stance, more stretch in your legs. With our hands on our hips, we can steer our hips front, back, hip front, hip back. Now, 4 fingers find the tip of a thumb, stretching out our wrists as we try to touch the front of our wrists. Circling those bird beaks for 3, and 2, and 1. Taking it the other way for 1, and 2, and 3. Now bringing those bird beaks onto our shoulders. One shoulder front, and then the other for 3, 2, and 1. Other way for 1, and 2, and 3. Now steering shoulders front and letting them relax onto our ribs. Clasping the fingers behind the back of the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, elbows wide to the side. Keeping that width, I'll invite you to find a tray in front. Breathing in as we gather energy into our center of balance, straightening the front leg without locking the knee, exhaling cactus arms. And we'll do that 8 times. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, inhaling, exhaling. Halfway done here, breathing in, breathing out, inhaling, exhaling. Last 2 here, breathing in, breathing out. Last 1, breathing in, breathing out, and holding warrior 1 legs with cactus arms. As we hold the shape, elbows move back, the hands come up. I'll invite you to ripple those fingers as you keep your hands supple. And this would be something you also do sitting at your desk. Just finding that good posture. We tend to slump forward when we're in a chair just because you have the support of the chair. There you go. Well, you don't want
No, I mean, it's because you're
Oh,
typing.
you're demoing. Okay.
I'm demoing, like, so I'm trying to figure out, like,
Can we be like bacon this morning? All right. Let's move towards a balance pose here. Hands find the hips. We're going to spin the back heel up. big step in, finding our flamingo as we balance on our right foot. Left thigh high with a point to the toe. Yeah, nice. From here, finding a standing half lotus as we flex the foot. We park the ankle on top of the thigh and sitting down in an invisible chair. From hands on hips, hands might find the heart. Hands might stay at heart, or we might sweep those hands out to the side and high to the sky as we challenge our balance. And then challenging our proprioception, either looking down off to the side or up to the sky. Shoulders stay relaxed. The pose feels wobbly. You can always ripple those fingers. Little tree branches in our half lotus, or tree twigs. High hands can come back to the heart. Hard hands can become hip hands. We can straighten that standing leg as we come back to our flamingo, pointing the toe, yeah. And then keeping that point to the toe, taking a bow to the knee as we lengthen through the leg without dropping the thigh. Lifting that leg a little higher. Now flexing the foot as we sweep the foot through, coming back to warrior one with our hands on our hips. With our hands on our hips, we can steer warrior one hips into warrior two hips. As we steer the hips sideways, we can kick the back foot in for a narrower stance. And then finding one long arm, looking out past those front fingers with a steady, relaxed gaze. And maybe a little more intentionality in those fingers without locking the fingers with some more strength. Yeah, there you go. From here, I'll invite you to paint rainbows. Straightening the front leg without locking the knee. Inhaling, that's it. Exhaling back to warrior two, 8 times. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Last 2. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and hold. Reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib with every breath, and breathing into that space. Also invite you to spread those fingers wide as you are, finding more space in your hands. Now turning our reverse warrior back into warrior two. Finding a rainbow warrior, you might find a clasp of the fingers behind the back. You might also grab a towel. I know Kathy likes her towel.
Thank you.
Yeah, even if you don't need the towel, it just feels good. Shoulder blades back and down, open heart, open throat. And then taking a deep dive inside the front leg. Find your feet. Take your time. Once you're in the shape, letting the neck relax and the head be heavy, and then letting those shoulders slide off the ribs and down towards the floor. Head below heart. Now in our rainbow warrior, I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin, stretching out the back of the neck. Once you have that tuck, you can bring it on up. Lifting the chin tall to the crown, we can lose towel. As we come back to our warrior two, one long arm. Transitioning to our triangle, thumb and forefinger finds crease of hip and base of rib. We can deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs. And then we can ground bottom hand down, different choices. Thumb in line with shin bone as we wrap the calves, a great choice. Some like to go all the way down to the ground, either inside or outside. Some of us will choose to raise the ground. And I like bricks outside the calf, my favorite place to work this. This top hand, we can rotate our ribs, we can open up that shoulder, and then we can stretch that hand high to the sky. Nice, yeah. So the more the arm, that's it. The more you move the arm back, you feel that scapula grounding back and down onto the ribs. Kathy's taken it into a little bit of a back bend, which is totally cool. Her body wants to do that, her body can do that. Like we said, that strong legs to support the back bend. Awesome, beautiful. From here, moving towards the triangle on one foot, otherwise known as the half moon. Top hand finds the hip, softening the front knee, either a couple of steps or a big step in. Feel free to use a brick or not as she sets her base. Once you have the base, hand and foot, we can start to pour weight into hand and foot as the back foot gets light. We can use that top hand to rotate the ribs, opening up shoulder, and then stretching hand high. And again, we want to take arm and shoulder work together. And when the arm moves back, the more that scapula grounds back and down onto the spine. Different ways to work the back foot. The classic exposition And in BKS, I had yours a flex back foot. Having said that, maybe let's play with that back foot a little bit as we circle our ankle for 3 and 2 and 1. Taking those ankle circles the other way for 1 and 2 and 3. And then we'll come down with ease. Hand finds the hip. We can land a short stance. Back foot comes down, no big deal. Once we have 2 feet down, we can start to pour weight into our feet as we come back up. Hands either find the hips or find your warrior. Hands find hips as we step back foot back for a longer stance. And then back to our warrior 2. Wait for the cue. And now a big windmill of the arms as we stretch out those shoulders for low lunge. Kathy knows my sequences. And from low lunge. There you go. Thank you for waiting. Back to down dog as you will. So let's keep our heat up for the purpose. So at home, feel free to hold down dog. Feel free to find a child's pose. Feel free to sneak in some water. For the purposes of this session, in this space, I'll ask Kathy to come back to plank pose and holding that for 3 or 4 long, slow breaths. Feeling that connection between head, hips, and heels. Connecting with that line of strength running through the center of herself. And she can find that line of strength at any point, not just in plank pose. You can be sitting in a chair, standing, waiting for a bus. And when you're in a straight line, it's the easiest to find it. So we'll move towards that second side. Those of us in plank pose, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, navel to spine. As you lift the hips high, coming back to down dog. And we'll get ready for that second side. Flow style, feet together. Left leg high for the 3-legged dog. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, twisting from the ribs, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Try to keep that elbow straight. Yeah, strong, strong, strong. Now you're going to circle the thigh bone for 1 and 2. And 3, other way for 3, 2, and 1. Now looking between the hands, pitching that knee even higher. And then sweeping that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead. Warrior 1. Now bringing hands back to hips, either staying right there. Kathy tends to land a long stance, which is awesome. I tend to go short, so I'll always take the opportunity to shift weight onto the front foot and go a little longer in my stance as I shift that back foot back. With hands on hips, we can steer those hips front. They're not going to get there, but you'll feel that energetic action. 4 fingers find the tip of a thumb, stretching out our wrists as we circle our wrists for 1 and 2 and 3. Taking those circles the other way for 1 and 2 and 3. Now bringing those bird beaks onto our shoulders, one shoulder front and then the other for 3 and 2 and 1. Other way for 1 and 2 and 3. Now steering the shoulders front and letting them relax onto our ribs. Clasping the fingers behind the back of the head. We can walk the fingers one over for that unfamiliar clasp. And then pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, elbows wide to the side. Keeping that width, we can find that tray in front. 8 times, gathering energy into our center of balance as we straighten the front leg without locking the knee. On the exhale, cactus arms as we circle around. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Inhale. Exhale, halfway done, breathing in, breathing out. Last 2 here. Last 1, breathing in, breathing out in, holding cactus arms. The elbows move back, the hands come with a little bit of ripple those fingers as we keep our hands up. You might lift the chin just a tad. Yeah, nice. From here, moving towards our flamingo. Hands find the hips as we spin the back heel up. Either one big step or a couple of steps in as we get ready to balance on that left foot. Yeah, set the foot first and then find the float. Beautiful. Take your time. With a point to the toe, right thigh high. Now either staying, feel free to stay here at home for the purposes of this class, flexing the foot, parking the ankle on top of the thigh as we find our standing half lotus. Take your time. We can keep hands on hips as long as we'd like. Maybe hands find the heart. See what that feels like. And then maybe challenging your balance as you sweep those hands out to the side and high to the sky, either looking down, off to the horizon, or up to the sky. The balance poses are great because there's not much else to think about when you're balancing besides balance. It's a great drishti for the mind. High hands can come back to the heart or hips. Hard hands can become hip hands. Now we want to come back to our flamingo, pointing the toe. Now taking a little bow to the knee, keeping that point as we lengthen through the leg without dropping the thigh. Lifting that leg a little higher. Now flexing the foot as you sweep it on through. Warrior one with our hands on our hips. With our hands on our hips, we can steer our hips sideways for warrior two hips. Kick that back foot in for heel to arch alignment. And then finding one long arm, looking out past those front fingers with a steady, relaxed gaze. Now painting rainbows, straightening that front leg without locking the knee. Inhaling. Exhaling, warrior two, 8 times. Breathing in. Breathing out. In. Breathing out. Inhale. Exhale, we're halfway done. Last 2 here. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in and holding that reverse warrior. Reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib. I might just spread those fingers wide, mimicking those ribs with our fingers as we find more space in our hands. Breathing into all that space. Now turning our reverse warrior back into warrior two. From here, moving towards our rainbow warrior, you might find that other clasp of the fingers behind the back, or you might grab a towel or a strap. Yeah, you want the towel this time?
Yeah.
Of course. Shoulder blades back and down, open heart, open throat. Keeping that, take your time here as you find a forward fold inside the front leg. Find your feet. You can take your time. There's no need to rush into a balance. Sometimes we rush into them because we're eager to get them over with. That usually makes them less enjoyable. In the rainbow warrior, I'll invite you to start to swing the neck, swing of the head, maybe adding the shoulders and hips. Just keep it loose, inviting any tension in your body to drain down into the earth. In our rainbow warrior, I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin as we bring it on up. Lifting the chin tall to the crown, back to our warrior two. From warrior two, we'll transition to the triangle. Thumb and forefinger finds crease of hip and base of rib. We deepen that crease, we lengthen those ribs. And when we're down there, we want to set the base. So we can put thumb in line with shin bone as we wrap the calf. Some choose to go to the floor, some grab the big toe. I like to raise the floor with bricks outside the calf. Yeah, 1 or 2 bricks is too much, you can go lower. Once we have the foundation, top hand can rotate the ribs. Top hand can open up that shoulder. We can stretch that hand high to the sky, choosing either to look down, ground drishti, off to the side, horizon drishti, or up to the sky, sky drishti. As we hold the shape with every breath in, gathering energy into your center. With every breath out from that center, finding more space in the shape from the inside out. Connecting the center of ourselves to the periphery of the room. Moving towards our half moon. Top hand finds the hip. We can soften that front knee for either one big step or a couple of steps in. We want to set that base before we move, so hand and foot. Once you have hand and foot, we can start to pour weight forward as the back foot gets light. We can use that top hand to rotate our ribs, opening up shoulder, Stretching hand high to the sky.
I think I'm disembodied from the camera.
Oh yeah. Just a little touch. That's my job. There you go. Beautiful. Look at that half moon. And again, holding the shape, breathing into center. From that center, finding more space in the shape from the inside out. Coming down easefully, top hand finds the hip. We can land a short stance, no big deal. Shifting weight into the feet as we come on up, hands can find the hips. And then shifting weight onto that front foot. As you lengthen your stance, coming back to your warrior two, we'll adjust the camera there. And yeah, so one long arm, looking out past those front fingers with a mixture of effort and ease. And from here, a big windmill of the arms as we stretch out our shoulders, finding low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Take your time. From down dog, I'll invite you to land a child's pose. Knees come down softly. I'll suggest a stack of soft fists, letting your forehead rest on those fists as you gently rock your hips from side to side. Finding your belly breath, letting your thighs massage your belly as you breathe in, letting your belly massage your thighs as you breathe out. Even if that's just on an energetic level, connecting with your center. Now, keeping that rock from side to side, I'll invite you to switch the cross of the fists. Letting that press of the forehead into the fists, soften the forehead, relaxing the back of the head, the neck of the shoulders. And then from this place, I'll invite you to bring your feet off to one side as we come down onto our backs. Different ways to get there. Finding the top of your mat, you might play with a long, slow roll down, starting from flat back, Frankenstein arms, tucking tail and chin as you roll it on down. When you get down, I'll suggest full body stretch, the low back lifts. And then on an exhale, I'll invite you to press your back into the mat as you walk your feet in and bring your hands by your hips. From here, let's play with a bridge pose, pressing into hands and feet to lift up the hips. Either working a Pilates bridge, palms stay down, hips in line with knees and shoulders. Or finding a yoga bridge as you clasp the fingers, rolling the shoulder blades under, pressing the hips up higher for more of a rainbow shape. Wherever you choose to work, heavy in the two arm lines, very light and buoyant in that heart line as we find a little more space in our upper back, breathing into that space. Really find those feet. Some people like to engage the glutes. I'm one of them, and that's going to help support the low back. From this place, if you found your yoga bridge, finding flat palms on the floor, everybody pulling back with those hands as we stretch our tailbone towards our heels. When that tailbone lands down, I'll invite you to bring hands on either side of the navel, fingers face in. So you bring your hands on your belly here. For a big breath in through the nose. I'll invite you to let it sigh out through your mouth. Big breath in through your nose. I'll invite you to let it slip out through pursed lips. And then breathing in and out through your nose. Now pressing your back into the mat to support the action of the legs as we draw one knee in, the other knee follows. Hands cap the knees. I'll invite you to circle your sacrum so the knees are together here. So you circle your sacrum, knees stay together, that's it. Just releasing and relaxing your back. And then taking those circles the other way. Now drawing the knees in, I'll invite you to trace two circles, the knees circle out to the side, and join down back by the navel. As we work this exercise, notice the undulations of the low back. I'll invite you to exaggerate those undulations as we release and relax the low back. As the knees draw in, the tailbone lifts. As the knees draw out, the tailbone grounds, the low back lifts. And then taking those circles the other way. Now I'll invite you to trace those exact same circles, except one knee goes forward, the other knee goes back. So egg beater knees. Notice how this asymmetrical action of the legs stabilizes the low back. And then taking those egg beater knees the other way. Now drawing those knees in, I'll invite you to find your happy baby, soles of the feet face the sky. We can reach up and catch our ankles to the outside edges of the feet. Heavying the knees on down, I'll invite you to gently rock your baby from side to side, releasing and relaxing your back, massaging your kidneys, either keeping the head just as it is or maybe adding a look over a shoulder. Could be a big bawling baby, could be a very peaceful baby. Let it be your baby. Now bringing your baby back center, coming back to a focus on your breath, watching as it flows in and out. Keeping this focus initially, pressing your back into the mat to support the action of the legs as we lengthen through one leg and then the other. Arms out to the side, spinning the palms up, scooting the head back as you flatten your shoulders. And then letting your low back find its natural curve as we find our final relaxation shape, our Shavasana. And we won't be here too long. At home, certainly feeling free to hold your Shavasana as long as you'd like. One of my teachers says 20 minutes minimum. Most of us don't have the time for that, but if you do, it's an awfully nice treat. Just to relax, be still, consciously relaxing. I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. I'll invite you to move mind before body, bringing your attention back to your breath, watching as it flows in and out, like watching a river as that river flows by. From a place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath, finding a long, slow breath in, followed by a longer, slower breath out. Keeping this more relaxing breath, I'll invite you to invite energy into your body as you gently ripple fingers and toes. Inviting that energy in towards center as we gently circle our wrists and our ankles. I'll invite you to add a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, whatever feels right and good for you, connecting with your own innate sense of well-being. Now pressing your back into the mat to support the action of the legs as we draw one knee into the heart, the other knee follows. Hands catch the knees. We can use our thighs to massage our low belly as we gently lift and lower our low back and hips. Front to back, side to side, little circles, whatever feels right and good for you. Keeping the neck relaxed, reaching back with a hand to lift and tuck the chin. Keeping the chin tucked, the hand comes back to the knee or the shin. Feel free to catch the front of the thighs if you need a little more momentum as we start to rock ourselves forward to back, back to front, massaging our spine. And then a little core engagement as we rock on up to find a cross-legged sit. I'll invite you to face the camera. Hands find the knees. Pushing down on your sits bones to lift your kidneys in and up. Pulling back with the hands to settle the shoulder blades back and down. Long through all sides of the neck with a soft tuck of the chin. I'll invite you to bring one hand onto the heart, the other hand on top. Ending our practice listening and feeling as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bow as you thank yourselves for practicing yoga, and as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world. The light within us honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much at home for practicing with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me.
Thank you, Mark, for being a great teacher.
Awesome. Thank you for being a great student.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.
And namaste. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
We'll see you all real soon.